I was a guest at my own husband's wedding, watching him at the altar. The bride, radiant in a white gown, was my mother. If you think you understand betrayal, you don't. If you believe you know what it feels like to have your soul torn from your body, you have no idea. You know nothing until you've seen the two human beings you trusted most in the world join forces to obliterate you, and then send you an invitation to celebrate their victory. This is the story of how I died, not a physical death, but a spiritual one. And it's the story of how I clawed my way back and ensured that they would pay for every single lie, every secret touch, and every whispered plan they hatched while plotting to take my entire life from me. My name is Lena, and this is what happens when love curdles into acid. 3 months before that wedding, I was living in a fog of blissful ignorance. It's true what they say, what you don't know can't hurt you. Because the second that awareness begins to dawn, there is no going back. It began in the smallest ways, so small I convinced myself I was losing my mind. Mark, my husband, stopped touching me. It wasn't an overnight change. It was a slow, creeping erosion, the kind of gradual change that makes you doubt your own perception of reality. He used to be so affectionate. He'd wrap his arms around my waist while I was cooking. He'd pull me close on the sofa. He used to kiss me goodnight like I was the only thing that mattered. But then, the casual touches vanished. The kisses became quick, dry, obligatory pecks. His gaze started to slide past me rather than rest on me. When I tried to initiate anything, the excuses started. I'm exhausted, Lena. Huge presentation in the morning. Not tonight. I told myself it was just his job. That was normal, I reasoned. That's what marriage is. But then there was the phone. That damned phone. It became the third person in our marriage. We'd be at the dinner table and it would buzz. His entire face would light up with a smile I hadn't seen directed at me in months. He would snatch it up, typing furiously. "Who is that?" I asked one night, trying to sound breezy. "Just a client," he'd mumble, not looking up. "Must be a very entertaining client. You're beaming." His eyes finally snapped to mine, and they were cold. "Can't I just smile, Lena? My God, you're becoming paranoid." Paranoid. He used that word. He made me feel like I was the one with the problem, just for noticing that my husband no longer saw me. I started to watch him more closely after that. The way he took the phone with him everywhere, how he always angled the screen so I couldn't see, the way he changed his passcode. "Did you change your password?" I asked him. "Yeah, for security. A guy at work got his phone hacked." It was a perfectly reasonable explanation, but my stomach still twisted into a knot. Then my mother started showing up more. Eleanora, my 52-year-old mother, still stunning, still sharp. She had always been beautiful, but she was my mom. I never thought of her in any other context. She began dropping by our house 2-3 times a week, always a reason. "I was just in the neighborhood. I baked your favorite pie." At first, I was thrilled. My father had passed away 4 years ago, and I knew she was lonely. I was happy for the company. But then, I started to notice things. The way her laugh was just a little bit louder when Mark walked in, how she'd fix her hair, the way her eyes would follow him, and the way he would linger when he greeted her, his hand staying on her shoulder just a second too long. "Your mother's here again," Mark said one afternoon, but his voice wasn't annoyed. If anything, it sounded pleased. "Is that a problem?" I asked. "No, not at all. I enjoy Eleanora. She's fantastic company." Something about the way he used her first name made my skin crawl. I started to confide in her, in my own mother. I told her about Mark's distance, how cold he'd become. I needed an ally. "Oh, honey," she'd say, patting my hand, "men just go through these phases. Your father was the same way. Just give him some space. Be patient. He'll come back to you." And I believed her. I sat right there and believed every word she said, as she looked me in the eye and told me to be patient with the man she was sleeping with. Their closeness became more and more obvious. They had inside jokes I wasn't part of. They'd share these long glances across the dinner table. One night I walked into the kitchen and found them standing incredibly close, and they physically jumped apart when they saw me. "What's going on?" I asked. "Nothing," my mother said far too quickly. "I was just telling Mark about a new restaurant downtown. You two should go." "We should all go together," I said, watching both their faces. "Oh, I wouldn't want to be a third wheel on your date night," Eleanora said, but I saw a flash of something in her eyes, annoyance. I pushed the thoughts down. I suppressed them. This was my mother, the woman who raised me. She couldn't. But the alarm bells were screaming. One Wednesday, I came home early from my job. I pulled into the garage at 2 p.m., 4 hours earlier than usual. As I fumbled for my keys, I saw Mark's car. I was shocked. He never came home before 7. The car pulled into the garage bay next to mine, and my heart began to pound. It was a primal instinct, a warning that my life was about to split in two. Mark got out of the driver's side, and then the passenger door opened. My mother got out. Shime stopped. I watched her step out of my husband's car in the middle of a weekday, and every single excuse I had been feeding myself for months turned to dust. "Lena," my mother said, her voice an octave too high. "Honey, what are you doing home?" "What am I doing home? I live here. I have a migraine," I said slowly. "What are you two doing here?" "I was just passing through," Eleanora said, smoothing her skirt. She was wearing a tight red dress I'd never seen. "I thought I'd stop by to see you, and I ran into Mark in the driveway. We just pulled in together." The lie was so smooth, but it didn't make sense. "You ran into him in the driveway?" "Oh, he just got here. I meant I saw him pulling up as I was walking up," she corrected, too fast. "And your car?" A split-second hesitation. "I took a ride share, had them drop me at the corner. Felt like a walk." Mark finally spoke. "Lena, what's with the interrogation? Your mother came to visit. Why are you acting so strange?" Strange. I was acting strange. "I'm not. I'm just confused." "Well, don't be," he snapped. "Your mother is always welcome here." My mother followed him inside. I stood in the garage, my head pounding, my stomach churning. I followed them in. They sat in the living room, chatting, while I went upstairs. When I came back down, my mother was laughing, her hand resting on Mark's knee. She snatched it back the second she saw me. "I should get going," Eleanora said, "so you can rest, darling." She kissed my cheek. I smelled her perfume, expensive and sweet. After she left, I confronted him. "Why were you really with my mother?" "I told you. I ran into her." "That's not true." "Are you calling me a liar?" "I'm asking you for the truth." He stood up, his face hardening. "You know what your problem is, Lena? You're insecure. You're paranoid, and frankly, it's exhausting. Your mother is a lovely woman who likes to visit her daughter. Stop manufacturing conspiracies." He walked out, leaving me there feeling like I was losing my grip on reality. That night, I called my best friend, Chloe. "Chloe, something is wrong," I whispered. "I think Mark is cheating on me." "What? Why?" I told her everything. The distance, the phone, the lies, and then I told her about finding him with my mother. Silence. "Chloe?" "I'm here, Lena. That's concerning. But it's your mom. Maybe she really was just visiting." "Then why lie? Why did their stories not match?" "I don't know, hon, but just keep your eyes open. Maybe start a log, see if there's a pattern." A detective in my own marriage. But I did it. I started noting when he worked late, when my mother was unreachable, and a sickening pattern emerged. Every time Mark claimed a late client meeting, my mother was at the spa. Every time my mother had a civic club dinner, Mark came home late. 2 weeks later, I came home from work on a Friday. The moment I opened the door, I smelled it, my mother's perfume, thick and unmistakable in the air. My briefcase slipped from my hand. I couldn't breathe. She had been here, while I was at work, in my house. I walked through the rooms like a ghost. It led me upstairs, to my bedroom, our bedroom. Hands were shaking. I opened the door. Everything looked normal. The bed was made, but the perfume was stronger in here, mixed with something else, Musk. I walked to the bed. I pulled back the comforter. Nothing. Then I lifted the pillows. Shocked. There it was. Red lipstick, a perfect waxy smear on the white pillowcase, my mother's signature shade. My knees buckled. I sat on the edge of the bed staring at that stain, and something inside me just shattered. My mother, in my bed, with my husband. Numb, empty. I don't know how long I sat there, hours maybe. When Mark came home, I was still sitting in the dark, the pillowcase clutched in my hand. "What are you doing?" he asked from the doorway. I looked up at him. This man I had loved, this man who was methodically destroying me. "Whose lipstick is this?" His face went blank. "What?" "This, on our pillow. Whose is it?" "I don't know. Yours?" "It's not my color. Try again." "Then I don't know, Lena. Maybe the housekeeper." "Our housekeeper doesn't wear makeup. Try again." He stared at me, calculating. "Maybe a friend of yours dropped by?" he finally said. "What friend? Why are you acting like a lunatic?" "Because I'm not a lunatic!" I screamed, jumping up. "I know something is happening. I know you're lying to me, and I know my mother was here today." A flicker of something, fear maybe, crossed his face. He masked it. "Your mother drops by sometimes. So what?" "Does she drop by to sleep in our bed?" "That's disgusting, Lena. It's your mother." "How could you even suggest that? Then explain the lipstick." "I can't explain what I don't know." We stood there, facing each other, and I saw a total stranger. The man I married was gone. In his place was someone who could look me in the eye and lie with a calm, steady heart. "I want the truth," I said, my voice low. "I can handle the truth. I can't handle this gaslighting." For a second, I thought he'd break. His eyes softened, his mouth opened, but then he shook his head. "There's nothing to tell. You're stressed. You're imagining things. Maybe you should talk to someone, a therapist." He walked out of the room. I was left alone with that pillowcase and the terrifying certainty that my entire life was a lie. I became a spy. I went through his pockets, his car. He was careful. Then, 3 weeks after the lipstick, Mark announced a late meeting. "Might be 10 or 11, he said. "Don't wait up." He looked good, too good. His best suit, cologne. "Which client?" "The Morrison account. Big project." He kissed my forehead, a cold, empty gesture. I waited 10 minutes, then I grabbed my keys and I followed him. My heart was hammering. He didn't go downtown to his office. He headed north. He pulled into the parking garage of the Grandview Hotel. I parked across the street. I watched him get out and stand by the entrance, waiting. 5 minutes later, a silver Mercedes pulled up. A woman got out. Long coat, heels. I couldn't see her face. But I saw what happened next. She walked right up to Mark. He smiled. That real smile, the one I missed. And he kissed her. Not a peck, a real deep kiss. His hands on her waist, her arms around his neck. I stopped breathing. They pulled apart, and they walked into the hotel together. Familiar, practiced. I sat in my car shaking, tears streaming down my face. Part of me wanted to storm in there, but the other part of me, the cold part, knew I needed more. I needed to know who. I drove home and cried until I was empty. The next morning, Mark came home at 6 a.m. I pretended to be asleep. He showered and slid into bed. "How was the meeting?" I asked, my eyes still closed. "Brutal," he lied, "but we landed the contract." Lie after lie. I couldn't eat. I couldn't sleep. My mother called. "Honey, I haven't heard from you. Is everything okay?" Her voice, so sweet, so motherly. I almost told her, but an instinct screamed, "Don't trust her." "I'm fine, Mom, just busy." "Oh, good. Listen, we should do lunch, just us girls." "Sure, Mom, I'll call you." I never did. 2 days later, the opening came. Mark left his phone on the bathroom sink while he showered. This time, I picked it up, and the screen was lit, unlocked. My hands trembled. I opened his messages, work, his brother, the gym, and then a contact labeled simply A. I opened it. The room started to spin. Messages going back months, hundreds. A. Can't stop thinking about earlier. You make me feel alive. Mark. You're incredible. I've never felt this way. A. What about Lena? Mark. She doesn't have to know. Not yet. We have to be smart. A. I hate this. I want to be with you properly. Mark. Soon, I promise. We just need to get everything in place. I scrolled back, my vision blurring. A. Do you think she suspects anything? Mark. She has no idea. She trusts me implicitly, and she'd never suspect you. A. I feel guilty sometimes. She's my daughter. The phone slipped from my fingers and clattered on the tile. My daughter. My mother. Eleanora. A. The shower turned off. I snatched the phone, my fingers numb, and kept reading. I had to know it all. Mark. Have you thought more about the plan? A. Are you sure we can access her trust fund? Mark. I can convince her to sign anything. She trusts me. A. How much are we talking? Mark. $8 million. Her father left it all to her. She never touches it. She won't even realize it's gone until we're long gone. A. And the divorce? Mark. I'll file as soon as we have the money. She can keep the house. We just need the trust fund. A. I never thought I could feel this way again. Not after your father died. Mark. He would want you to be happy, Eleanora. A. I am happy. With you. I just wish we didn't have to hurt her. Mark. She'll get over it. She's strong. And honestly, I stopped loving her a long time ago. I only stayed for the money. The bathroom door opened. I was standing there, phone in hand, as Mark emerged in a towel. His eyes met mine, then they dropped to the phone. I watched his face drain of color as he realized what I knew. Lena. Hello, Mom, I whispered. You're sleeping with my mother, and you're planning to steal my inheritance. He didn't deny it. He didn't even try. Instead, a cold mask settled over his face. How much did you read? Enough. He nodded, slowly. Then he laughed, a sharp, ugly sound. Well, I guess the cat's out of the bag. Is that all you have to say? What do you want me to say, Lena? That I'm sorry? He walked past me. The truth is, Eleanora and I have been together for almost a year, and yes, we were planning to take your money. Because frankly, you don't deserve it. The cruelty was breathtaking. I don't deserve my own inheritance? You didn't earn it. Your daddy left it to you. You've never worked for anything. Eleanora and I, we've struggled. We deserve that money. Eleanora, I choked out. My mother. Your mother is an incredible woman. She's passionate, vibrant, exciting. Everything you're not. The words were physical blows. And you? You married me for my money. No, he said, buttoning his shirt. I married you because I thought I could love you. But you're boring, Lena. You're predictable. Your mother? She's everything I wish you were. She's 25 years older than you. Age is a number. Eleanora knows how to make a man feel alive. You just exist. I felt like I was floating. So what now? You leave me for my mother and steal my money? That was the plan. But since you found out, we'll just have to accelerate things. He pulled out his phone. I'm texting Eleanora. She needs to know. No, but he'd already sent it. His phone rang. He answered, on speaker. She knows, he said. Oh dear, my mother's voice. Calm, unbothered. This is unfortunate. Mom? I cracked. How could you? Silence. Then, Lena, honey, you wouldn't understand. What Mark and I have, it's real. The kind of love you and Mark didn't have. He's my husband. A husband you were losing anyway. Be honest, Lena. When was the last time he truly desired you? Because he was with you. Yes, but that should tell you something. He chose me. He chose me because I'm better for him. Her voice shifted, becoming practical. Look, Lena, here's what's going to happen. Mark is filing for divorce. You are going to sign the papers. No fight. And you are going to transfer your trust fund to a joint account. Why on earth would I do that? Because if you don't, we will make your life a living hell. We can destroy your credit, empty your personal accounts. We can ruin you, Lena. That's extortion. It's survival. You cooperate and walk away with your dignity, or you fight and you lose everything anyway, plus your reputation. I'll go to the police. And tell them what? That your husband is leaving you? Not a crime. As for the money, we haven't taken anything yet. You have no proof of intent. They had planned for everything. So you're just taking everything? My husband, my money, my mother? Oh, honey, don't be so dramatic. You're young, you'll bounce back. But Mark and I, we deserve this. I deserve this. You're my mother, I whispered. For the first time, I heard emotion, but it wasn't remorse, it was rage. Because for once in my life, I am choosing what I want. I spent 30 years in a loveless marriage to your father, and then he died, and he left everything to you, as if I was an afterthought. Do you know how that felt? Dad loved you. Your father tolerated me. He adored you. And when he died, he made sure you were set. $8 million. You know what he left me? The house and an annuity. That's it. So yes, I am taking what should have been mine, and I am taking the man who actually sees me, and I am not going to feel guilty about it. She hung up. I looked at Mark. He was watching me with something like pity. I'll have my lawyer send the divorce papers, he said, and the financial documents. The sooner you cooperate, the easier this will be. I'm not signing anything. Then we do it the hard way. Either way, Lena, you've already lost. Accept it. He picked up his briefcase and left. I heard the front door close. I was alone. I don't remember the next few days. I called in sick. I didn't eat. I just lay in bed, staring at the ceiling. Chloe finally showed up. Lena? My God, Lena! She found me in the dark. Sis, what happened? I told her. Everything. I watched her face cycle through disbelief, nausea, and then pure cold rage. Your mother, she kept repeating. Your own mother! They want me to sign over my trust fund. You are not doing that. They'll ruin me if I fight. Then we fight harder, Chloe said, her jaw tight. We are not letting them get away with this. I don't know how. Yes, you do, she said. You are Lena. You are smart, you are strong, and you are not letting these monsters win. The divorce papers arrived a week later. With them were the documents to transfer my trust fund. And there was another card, an invitation, gold embossed. Request the pleasure of your company at the wedding of Eleanora Sterling and Mark Dubois. They were keeping his name, my name. The wedding was in 3 months. At the bottom, in my mother's handwriting, Darling, it would mean so much if you were there. You'll always be my daughter. I stared at that invitation, and the grief, the pain, it all crystallized. It hardened into something new. Rage. Pure, focused, cold rage. They thought I would roll over. They thought I was weak. They had made a fatal mistake. I called Chloe. I need your help. I need a private investigator. I need a forensic accountant, and I need a lawyer, and I need to do it without them ever knowing. That's my girl, I heard her smile. We are going to set their world on fire. First, I secured my money. I met with Mr. Aris, my father's financial advisor. Mr. Aris, I need to make some changes to my accounts. This is about your husband, isn't it? Yes, he and my mother. They plan to divorce me and take it. I'm sorry, Lena. Don't be. Just help me make sure he doesn't get a single cent. A small smile. It will be my pleasure. Over the next week, we locked down every asset. Mr. Aris was a genius. He created shell corporations, moved funds. The money was still mine, but it was now so buried it would take a legal team months to even find it. "Your father was a very smart man," Mr. Aris said. "He set this trust up with specific predatory marriage safeguards. All I did was activate them. If your husband tries to claim any of this, he's going to hit a brick wall." "And the transfer documents they want me to sign?" "Sign them. They're worthless. The accounts they reference will no longer exist. By the time they realize, the window to contest will be long gone." I felt my first real smile in weeks. Next, I hired Jensen, the private investigator. I need everything: photos, video, financial records, every lie. "You want to sink them in the divorce?" "I want to sink them, period." Jensen was terrifyingly good. Within 2 weeks, I had a 4-inch thick file, photos of Mark and Eleanora at hotels, timestamps proving the affair was over a year long, credit card records showing Mark had been paying for rooms and gifts on our joint credit card. My money. And then Jensen found the overstep. "Your mother has been meeting with a man named Tyrone Wells," he said. "He's a consultant who specializes in hiding money offshore, the kind of guy you hire when you plan to disappear." "What?" "She and your husband, they've already purchased property in Portugal, under a shell corp. They're setting up their new life, and they plan to be gone before the divorce is even finalized." "We can stop them." "We can do better. We can make sure when they leave with nothing. And we can make sure everyone knows exactly what they did." "Tell me how," Jensen smiled. "First, we let them think they're winning." I signed the divorce papers. No lawyer, no fight, just like Mark demanded. He looked surprised. "No fight?" he asked. "What for?" I said, my voice hollow and defeated. "You won. You and my mother. I just want this to be over." "And the trust fund?" "I'll sign. Just give me a few days." "Thank you, Lena," he said, actually sounding sincere. "It's for the best." I signed the transfer documents 3 days later. I went to the bank with them, Mark and Eleanora. I played the part of the broken woman perfectly. My mother was radiant. She actually hugged me. "Thank you for being so mature about this, honey. I know it hurts, but one day you'll find someone who makes you feel the way Mark makes me feel." I almost laughed. We sat in the manager's office. I signed the papers. I watched them trying to hide their giddy excitement. "The funds will be available in your joint account within 24 hours, the manager said. They walked out of that bank holding hands like they'd just won the lottery. That night, I met with Jensen and Mr. Aris. "Is it done?" I asked. "It's done," Mr. Aris confirmed. "They signed papers to transfer funds from an account that is now a ghost. By the time they realize, the window to contest will be long gone." "And Portugal?" "We've been in contact with the Portuguese authorities," Jensen said. "Turns out your mother's consultant is wanted for fraud in 3 countries. The property they bought will be seized the moment they try to claim it." "So they'll have nothing." "Less than nothing. They'll owe money to lawyers and potentially face criminal charges." "Good." I turned to Jensen. "And the other part?" "All set. I've compiled the evidence into a complete dossier. Tomorrow morning, it will be delivered. Employers, families, friends, everyone. They'll lose their jobs. Your husband's firm has a morality clause. Your mother's civic clubs and social circles, they don't appreciate this kind of scandal." I should have felt guilty. I felt nothing but cold, clean satisfaction. The wedding invitation was still on my fridge. 3 months became 2, then 1. Mark had moved out. My mother had been calling. "Lena, please pick up. I want my daughter at my wedding." Her messages made me sick. Chloe thought I should skip it. "You've already won. You don't need to see that." "I'm going," I told her. "I need to see their faces. I need them to see mine." The wedding was Saturday, 200 guests. They'd spared no expense. Why would they? They thought they had $8 million. I bought a dress, simple, elegant, black. Funeral attire. I woke up that Saturday feeling eerily calm. I had spent 3 months setting every single domino in place. Today, I'd push the first one. I drove to the estate alone. I arrived early and took a seat in the last row. White chairs, an arch of roses. It was beautiful and obscene. The music shifted. Mark walked down the aisle. He looked handsome, happy. He saw me in the back row and his step faltered. But then he smiled, a smug, victorious smile. He thought I was there to surrender. He had no idea. The music swelled, everyone stood, and my mother appeared, Eleanora, in a white wedding gown, pure white, strapless, diamonds. She looked radiant. She walked down the aisle, her eyes locked on Mark. As she passed my row, she looked at me. She smiled. It wasn't apologetic, it was triumphant. It said, "I won." I smiled back, because she had no idea what was coming. The ceremony started. If anyone has any reason why these two should not be joined, I felt eyes on me. I stayed silent. They exchanged vows. They exchanged rings. I now pronounce you husband and wife. You may kiss the bride. Mark kissed my mother, a long, passionate, inappropriate kiss. Mr. and Mrs. Dubois. Applause. They walked back up the aisle. As they passed me, my mother squeezed my hand. Thank you for coming, honey. It means everything. The reception was in the ballroom. I sat in the corner, watching. Mark's best man toasted to love conquering all. One of my mother's friends spoke of Eleanora's bravery. No one mentioned that the groom had been married to the bride's daughter 3 months ago. Then my mother stood up to give a speech. I want to thank you all. I know this is unconventional, but when you find true love, you can't let it go. She looked at Mark. It's never too late to start over. She raised her glass. To new beginnings. To new beginnings, the room echoed. I didn't drink. As the party continued, I stood up. I walked over to Mark and Eleanora. Can I speak to you both, just for a moment? They exchanged a look, then nodded. We moved to a quiet corner. I just wanted to congratulate you, I said, my voice steady. You both got exactly what you wanted. Lena, my mother started. No, really. You played it perfectly. The affair, the manipulation, the theft of my inheritance. Well done. Mark's jaw tightened. We're not talking about this here. Oh, yes, we are, because I want you to know something. That money you think you took, the $8 million in your new joint account, they were both staring at me. It's gone. What are you talking about? Eleanora's voice was sharp. The account you transferred from. I closed it 2 months ago. The papers you signed are worthless. The money you think you have, it isn't there. It's hidden in places you will never, ever find. You can't. I already did, and that's not all. The property you bought in Portugal, it's being seized as we speak. Turns out your consultant, Mr. Wells, is a wanted international criminal. Everything he helped you buy is part of a federal investigation. My mother grabbed my arm. What have you done? What you taught me to do, Mother. Look out for myself. Protect what's mine. I pulled my arm free. Oh, and one more thing. Tomorrow morning, everyone you know is receiving a complete dossier. Photos of you two. Text messages plotting my destruction. Financial records proving you tried to steal from me. Your employers, your friends. They will all know exactly who you are. You little vindictive bitch, Eleanora hissed. I learned from the best, I smiled. Congratulations on your marriage. I hope you enjoy being broke together. I turned and walked away. Lena, Mark yelled behind me. Lena, wait! I kept walking, out of the ballroom and into the night. I heard shouting behind me, Mark and Eleanora arguing, her voice rising to a shriek, his desperate and angry, the sounds of their perfect day imploding. I got in my car and drove away, and for the first time in months, I felt light. I felt free. The fallout was spectacular. On Monday, Mark called me 17 times. I didn't answer. He left a voicemail. Lena, please, there's been a mistake with the accounts. The bank says the funds aren't there. Call me. On Tuesday, Eleanora pounded on my door. "Lena, open this door. We need to talk about this misunderstanding." I stayed inside. On Wednesday, I got a notification that Mark's firm had terminated his contract. Breach of professional ethics. On Thursday, Eleanora's Civic Club revoked her membership. On Friday, Jensen called. The Portuguese authorities have seized the property. Your mother and Mark are listed as persons of interest. How much did they lose? They sank $200,000 into that property. It's gone. $200,000. My money. Can I get it back? I'm already on it. You'll get it back. By the second week, the social consequences were total. Everyone knew. My mother's friends crossed the street to avoid her. Mark's colleagues wouldn't return his calls. Their love, built on lies and theft, didn't survive the consequences. 3 weeks after the wedding, I found Mark sitting on my porch steps. He looked awful. Unshaven, dark circles, wrinkled. "Lena," he said, "please, 5 minutes." I should have locked the door, but I wanted to hear it. 5 minutes. We sat on the steps. "I'm sorry," he said. "I'm sorry I hurt you. I'm sorry I threw away something real for this. It's not going well with my mother?" He laughed, a bitter sound. "Your mother is furious the money is gone. It's all she talks about. She's threatening to divorce me. We're not even a month in." I felt nothing. No pity, no satisfaction. Just empty. "Why are you telling me this?" "I need your help. The money, Lena. I know you moved it. We need it, just to survive. I can't find work. We're broke. We're going to lose the apartment." "You have each other," I said. "Isn't that what you wanted? True love?" "Lena, please, I'm begging you. Not for me, for her. She's your mother." "She stopped being my mother when she slept with my husband." "Lena," I stood up, "you both made your choices. You chose to betray me, to steal from me, to destroy me. Now you face the consequences. That is not my problem." "So that's it? You're just going to let us crash and burn?" "Yes, because it's exactly what you deserve." I went inside and locked the door. A month later, I heard they'd filed for divorce. Eleanora cited financial fraud. Mark countersued for defamation. They were tearing each other apart. My mother showed up at my work. She looked old. The stress had aged her a decade. "Lena, please, 5 minutes. I'm your mother." We went to a coffee shop. "I've lost everything. The house is in foreclosure. I have no income, no friends. I'm about to be homeless." "How unfortunate." "Lena, I am begging you. You won. You destroyed us. Just give me something, a small allowance, enough for an apartment, please." I looked at this woman, the woman who gave birth to me, and I felt nothing. "You told me once," I said quietly, "that Dad only left you the house and an annuity. Do you remember?" "Yes." "Do you know why he did it?" "It wasn't because he loved me more. It was because he knew exactly who you were. He knew you were selfish. He knew you'd waste it. So he protected his assets by leaving them to me. And he was right." Tears ran down her face. "He also knew," I continued, "that one day you might turn on me. He warned me once. He said, 'Lena, your mother loves you, but she loves herself more. Remember that.' I didn't understand. I do now." "Please." "No. You made your choices. You destroyed your own life. I am not saving you from yourself." "What am I supposed to do?" "The same thing you told me to do. Pick yourself up. Get a job. Build a new life. You're young, right? Age is just a number." I stood up. "Lena, please. I'm your mother." "No," I said, looking down at her. "You stopped being my mother the day you betrayed me. Now you're just Eleanora, a stranger who made terrible decisions. And I don't owe strangers a damn thing." I walked out and never looked back. A year later, I'm sitting in my new office. I was promoted to senior editor 6 months ago. My life is full. I bought a new house, smaller, but it's all mine. I've been dating someone. His name is Leo. He's kind, he's honest, and he knows my story. We're taking it slow. I heard Mark moved back home, working construction. His dreams are dead. Eleanora is working part-time at a department store. She lives in a studio apartment in a rough part of town. They both lost everything: their reputation, their careers, their money. I didn't have to lift a finger after that wedding. They destroyed themselves. Because that's what happens when you build your happiness on someone else's pain. The foundation is rotten. It always collapses. Some people say I should forgive, that holding on to this is bad for me. Here's what I learned. Forgiveness is not owed to people who haven't earned it. Moving on doesn't mean forgetting. I moved on by building a new life, by reclaiming my power. They wanted to break me, to take everything and leave me an empty shell. Instead, I broke them, not with violence, but by simply protecting myself and letting them face the consequences of their own choices. They never anticipated that the quiet, boring, predictable Lena they thought they could crush had a core of iron. Pain can be transformative. Betrayal can be instructive. Sometimes the worst thing that ever happens to you is the catalyst for becoming the person you were always meant to be. I am not the same woman who found lipstick on her pillow. That woman was naive. She doubted herself before she doubted them. The woman I am now is different, harder, wiser, unbreakable. Smirking. Sometimes I think about that wedding, watching my mother walk toward my husband. I could have collapsed. I could have screamed. But I didn't, because I knew something they didn't. The moment they betrayed me, they had already lost. They just didn't know it yet. And watching them figure it out, watching their perfect plan turn to ash, that was the sweetest justice of all. My name is Lena, and I am still here, still standing, still thriving, while they burn in the ruins of the life they tried to steal.